Psalm 139. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I'm still with you. If only you, God, would slay the wicked. Away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. What a prayer. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Rhema CC. I'm Lindy, and we are talking prayer this morning. What a good way for us to navigate how to pray. If you are someone who is struggling with your prayer life, this is a great way to kind of kick things off in terms of remembering what's important. How do we kind of connect with God again? Sometimes we don't have the discipline. Sometimes it all just feels like it's just too much and we just don't know where to start. Prayer can be a really hard thing for those who aren't overly comfortable with it. It's not something that everyone just loves. I'm someone who I will honestly say that I do love it. I think it's just me being vulnerable with God. And being, I find it easy to talk to God all day, every day. But I know that we are not all built the same way. And if you are someone who is struggling with this sort of concept, this particular passage here is a great way for you to engage with how to talk to God. Now, there are certainly, I think, about 4 different sort of aspects in this one particular prayer that might help you to sort of get things started. What do I see? Well, I see that David writes from a place where he understands that God knows him intimately. There's an awareness. That's something you can pray about. We then move on to the awareness that God is a big God. He's huge. He's everywhere. He's in the ins, he's in the outs. He's in the ups, he's in the downs. He's in the dark, he's in the light. He's in all of it, guys. And David emphasizes that exact same thing right here. When we spend some time acknowledging that, we've got plenty to talk to God about. Again, we go back to the awe of and wonder of creation. David emphasizes here just how important it is, or how relevant it is, to understand how intricately he was made, how we are made. Then David goes into a place of asking for guidance and a bit of a heart change. Now, that's certainly something every one of us can pray for at all times. There may be things in our life that we need to shake up, that we need to be aware of, that we need to change. And we don't always want to see it. I'll admit that I've had one of those weeks this week where I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm so grumpy all the time. And I've just wondered, what is wrong with me? I'm just a grump. I'm putting it out there. Yeah, we all have grumpy days. But guys, honestly, this is a way for us to if you are struggling with your prayer life, it's a good way to kick things off. Just get back to it. and look at this particular part of the Bible that can give you that little jolt to go, there is something to talk to God about. Even if I'm not there yet, even if I'm not really feeling like I'm ready to start talking about whatever. He can, we can find something to talk to him about in all things. And that is my encouragement for you right now and for, the week to come. More to come though. We're going to talk more prayer stuff as we go through this morning. So stick with us. I'm looking forward to it because I love talking prayer. See you soon. And welcome back, Coasties. We are kicking things off pretty straight to it today, guys. We're talking prayer. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here at Rhema Central Coast. I'm straight to it this morning because, hey, why not? Why not get straight to it? Before I do, though, I just want to remind you guys that we do have the radio and use survey that has been extended. So the cutoff date is the 18th of July. If you guys haven't done it already, we would love for you to jump on board and just, check it out on the website. It only takes a few minutes and it just gives us some insight into what's going on out for you guys, how we can better equip you with, whatever it is you're looking to have throughout the day. When you're listening to radio, what sort of things are possibly entertaining but also challenging. I think it all helps us to kind of work out what's going on for you and how we best meet those needs. So if you can help us, absolutely, we would love that. Rhema.cc, radio and news survey, you will see it there. Guys, as I said, we're talking prayer this morning, and one of the things we've been talking about is we talked about Psalm 139 and how it actually helps us to work out how we can pray sometimes. Sometimes we can be a bit lost in where do we start? There might be lots of different reasons. This particular aspect I'm going to cover in this section this morning is about something that goes back before that in terms of prioritizing God. If we look at the Ten Commandments, we are reminded that we are to put God first. I know that it's right back in the Old Testament. I understand that. I know that the New Testament kind of changed things up in a lot of ways in terms of Jesus sort of just stepping in and going, okay, that's how things were done. But you know what? The New Testament echoes. Jesus himself echoes what is in the Old Testament and specifically the Ten Commandments. The first commandment is, I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain is the second. Remember to keep holy the Lord's day is another. Honor your father and your mother. And then it goes into almost like just a kind of a practical way of living, of what is expected. But specifically, I want to just zoom in on the first one I have just emphasized there, and that is, I am the Lord your God. You shall not have gods before me. What are your gods? And is it getting in the way of your prayer life? Big one and heavy one and confronting one, and talk about going to that part of prayer that's like, oh, search me. Now, our gods can be our lifestyle. It can be how we identify ourselves. It can be our family, our spouse. It can be our career. It can be, what we own. It can be so many different things. What are the gods that we are placing before our actual God? What are we idolizing? I have been really challenged on this one this week, and I specifically, I don't know why, but for some reason it was a real challenge this week in terms of my prayer life. What am I putting before my time with God? And I'm still working through that. I think God's still yet to reveal a lot to me, but I think we have to be very willing to see God's priorities. What does he want and expect from us? And more than that, what are we willing to put aside to actually go, you know what, God, you are number one. And I think prayer is a great way for us to see that. I think it's a great way for God to reveal things to us. And I would encourage you, if you are forgetting about the basics, these things go hand in hand. When we start putting God first and start prioritizing things like prayer, that is when we start to see the answers evolve, especially in terms of our own heart changes. So my encouragement today in this particular little moment is just think about that, because it's a heavy one. It can be quite confronting, but it's a big call. What are we doing? How do we reshape our life to ensure that God is at the forefront of everything else? He deserves it. He's a good God. We certainly covered that this morning, just looking at how big he is, just standing in awe of how he creates and how amazing he is. But we've got some work to do on our end too, in terms of just giving back to him because of that. And yeah, prayer is a good way for us to do that. Guys, we're going to talk some more stuff, prayer this morning, and I'll see you soon. Well, welcome back, Coasties. You are joining us here at Rhema Central Coast. I hope you're enjoying all the music this morning. I have been. I always do, actually. I think Eben does a beautiful job at just, doing his thing. So thank you, Eben, for what you do. And to all the team, actually, I just want to say thank you to you guys for all the different aspects of keeping this place moving. I do understand that there's a lot that we don't know. I will never say that we haven't got any idea, because we just don't have any idea what goes on behind the scenes at running any sort of organisation. People just, you don't get it unless you have to do it. Thank you anyway to those who are working behind the scenes here at Rhema and keeping things moving. Guys, we're talking prayer this morning. It's a big one, because there's lots of different avenues I could have taken it. And we've covered, obviously, looking at scripture and looking at how it might apply to us changing our perspective of prayer, of prioritising prayer. And more than anything in this moment, I just want to talk to you guys about just the silly stuff. Now, it is okay to pray about. In fact, God wants us to pray about the things that are just, they might seem ridiculous. They might seem stupid. They might seem just outright silly. I'm going to give you a bit of a story. This week, my daughter had a bit of an issue health-wise. She's down the south coast, so she called me and said, "Hey, Mum, look, this is what's happening. I've had this headache for several days, and I'm just not feeling right. What should I do?" Sounds like just a headache, but it's, she was real kind of unsteady on her feet. And before too long, her eye started to swell up. So I was like, yeah, that's not normal. I'm going to go down and just at least help out with whatever I can, whether that meant looking after her little guy or helping her out. Now, she obviously was not feeling great. So I'm like, you're not driving. We are going to go and see somebody. Got down there. It was, I left at 8 o'clock pretty quickly. It was 8 o'clock at night. Drove throughout the night, so I didn't get down there till about 1:30 or something like that. And I was very, very tired, and I was scared. I was kind of, God, I'm nervous being on the road. I don't want to be on the road at this particular time, in terms of just knowing my level of fatigue. I hadn't slept very well the night before, and so I was more praying for other people, because I was just like, I know that I am tired. I just need to just know that you've got me. Now, I don't throw that around there to say go and do that, but I just mean in terms of what we were talking about before, prioritising and working out what means a lot to us in our life. I think for myself, I've really been challenged on the awareness of putting God genuinely at the forefront, and then my family. And that obviously is hard when you've got family who are spread out. You guys might be very similar. But I knew it was a moment for me to need to be there. I knew that I needed to tell and show my daughter that she's a priority in my life, and I wanted to be there to support her. So my prayers as I drove were, God, protect me, protect those around me, and help me to stay alert, stay wise to things that are happening around me. Thankfully, I felt his protection the whole way down. I actually felt him the whole time I was down there. Even stupid little things, like as we were getting to the hospital, the following day I took her in because she was still having all these issues. And it's stupid little things, like I was driving her car. I know it's something that's important to her. It's a new car. So I was like, I don't want to scratch anything. I don't want to do any damage here. Just get me to a car park that's not going to cause any issues. And thankfully, I just pulled up and it was one to go straight there. But yeah, it is those silly little things, I think, that God goes, I'm still interested. I still want to hear about your silly concerns, because I will respond to that. And yeah, he wants to hear the requests for protection, for wisdom, for the car park. He wants to know the details of what is going on in our life, and he wants to show up. He wants to show us that he's in those moments. Now, I don't say that to brush things off. When you might be somebody who's been praying for a long time and thinking, God has not responded to my requests. Well, I know it can be really hard, and I want to encourage you that God still knows what he's doing in those moments. He knows why he hasn't responded the way that you would like him to. He knows what he's doing in your life, even as frustrated as you might be. And now is not the time to turn away from him. Now is the time to keep pursuing him, to keep placing him above all else, to keep talking to him, and to keep trusting that he has, yes, he hears your prayers, he hears your thoughts, he hears your concerns, but he knows what he's doing in all of it, and there must be something beyond our understanding of explanation or understanding of why it hasn't been responded to in the way that you would like. He may be doing something else that is actually a whole lot better. But yeah, I just want to encourage you, pray about the silly stuff, pray about the dumb things. I pulled up when I was driving back from my daughter's. I had to wait around actually here at Gosford. I was kind of waiting for my 16-year-old to finish us at a birthday party, and I was like, okay, what do I do for several hours? I am so tired. I've hardly had any sleep. Pulled up at a petrol station, got cheap petrol, looked across, and my phone was completely dead, so I couldn't even call my husband to say what was going on. Looked across, went across and grabbed some dinner, and I said to the guy at the counter, look, my phone is dead. Is there any way that I can charge my phone at all? He was so kind. I just want to just say, if there happens to be a Connor out there who is listening, thank you for just being a delight to watch, you interacting with your colleagues. It was just really nice. Anyway, won't go into that too much, but I just want to say it was a moment that I was forced to stop. I had prayed about the silly little things like, God, I need to be able to do this. I need to be able to get this sorted. I actually gave a list to God. I'm like, I need petrol, I need food, I need to get my phone charged, and boom, boom, boom. It was just like, okay, you can do all here in this one little space. But that's what I'm saying, guys. Just talk to him about the dumb stuff, because he does respond. And we just need to acknowledge that he does and be thankful for it, because we can often brush it off and go, oh, that's nice. But I think it's nice that he does actually know the smaller, more, those silly requests. He's given us humour. He's given us a sense of seriousness. He's given us all of it. And it's really encouraging that we can give it back to him. We can laugh about the dumb stuff that he responds to. But yes, talk to him. It's all of it. He wants to know all of it. And welcome back, Coasties. Welcome to Sunday mornings. I am so thankful I get to do my Sunday morning with you guys. I have had lots of different sort of twirls and twists this week in terms of what we are going to talk about here on this Sunday. We have been talking about something that's pretty important. That happens to be prayer, and we are going to continue talking about that. But before we do, I'm going to, if I don't mention it now, I'm just never going to think about it again. I want to tell you something that's happening that's pretty cool. Did you know that the Sound of Heaven tour with Danny Goki is coming to Australia this July? You can experience powerful songs, stunning vocals, and a night of inspiration that honestly you just will not forget. And this particular night is featuring a special guest artist, Cecina. Station sponsor CMAA has provided 2 double passes to the Newcastle show for us to give away. It happens to be on the Friday, the 25th of July, and it's at the Granary Church. You can enter the draw by going to our website, rhema.cc, and clicking on the Winner Double Pass button. The winner would be drawn and notified on Wednesday, July 16th. So that's this coming week. So get to it, guys. Great night. And honestly, just being able to support other Christian artists. There's some really cool artists out there at the moment. Danny Goki, I think, is pretty amazing too. I'm going to be at the concert. Looking forward to that. And yeah, it's just easy listening stuff. It's clean. It's great. It's fun to listen to. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents anyway. Guys, we are, as I said, talking about prayer. We've talked a few things this morning about our prayer life, sort of shaking things up and just prioritising prayer as being of importance. I just want to encourage you to just, use your everyday, the moments in every day, and just be aware of God's presence in it. If you are someone who struggles with prayer, having the accountability from other people can be a great way for you to jump back on it. Have a prayer group, have people you're praying with. Pray with your spouse, pray with your family. I know it's, it can often be uncomfortable for people if they're not naturally someone who likes to pray. Not that you don't like to pray, but often it can be a case of, I don't know if I do it. There can be a bit of an insecurity in doing it in front of people. I don't know where that comes from. I would say that, we live in a time that is actually encouraging in terms of our outward prayers. We live in a time where being authentic is actually noted as okay, and being real about what is going on for us and our life is deemed okay. Not everyone's there yet. I think there's a lot of generational stuff where not everyone is there yet. But I think as a society, we are becoming more and more okay with saying, hey, this is me. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm challenging or have been challenged with. I need your help in that. And we certainly live in a society that encourages this need to, put ourselves out there as in terms of how we identify, whether that's as a, business person or as a particular gender or whatever. Our identity is such a big part of who we are in the world. I think historically we have been not so great at saying, things aren't going well. I think we have been historically told to shut things down when things are not going well. I'll use an example here. Teen pregnancy. I think when there's things that have popped up, we've been told to almost shun a part of society because of a way that they have lived or a way that they have done things or whatever. I think especially we need to be careful of that in the church, but I don't think the church has necessarily dealt with things well in terms of dealing with the real deal of who we are and where we've been and what we've been doing and all that sort of stuff. But I think we live in a time right now where there is an openness to seeing things for what they are. Now, I myself have come across many people who have not necessarily been able to deal with my, what's the best way to put it? I would say that I can be very genuine and authentic in just who I am. I'm like, you like me? Cool. If you hate me, that's fine too. I'm like, this is just me. Let's just get to it. You can either like me or loathe me. I don't care. I can't be anyone else. And I refuse to be anyone else. I don't want to put that mask on because I've done it before. And God stripped it off. I give total credit to him to go, Lindy, I see you. You are pretending to be someone else. I'm taking that mask off you and you are just going to be yourself. Thankfully, we live in a time where it is becoming more okay to do that. So this is my challenge now, acknowledging that truth and acknowledging the fact that prayer can be difficult for some people. If you are someone who struggles with that, I want to encourage you to be as raw and real as you can with those in your life who you know are the prayer warriors. Go to them and say, hey, you know what? I have recognized this is a struggle for me, but God is calling me to live better for him, to put him as a priority. I know that that's what's happening. Look, can I ask you, can I be accountable to you in some way? And ask for their prayers. Them praying for you in terms of your prayer life could be massive. Be real. Just be authentic with each other. Be real. Call it if you're struggling. And more than anything, guys, this is the biggest call. Be authentic before God. He wants to see your heart. He wants to see your mind in action. He wants to see you doing what you were created to do. He wants to see you for who you are supposed to be. And there is a process in that. Prayer is a beautiful process for you to, work it out and for God to reveal things to you, to us. It's phenomenal. It's amazing how prayer works. Anyway, guys, I'll see you soon. And rightio, guys, we are talking prayer. Good morning and welcome to Rhema CC. I am Lindy Jones. I'm hanging out with you guys this morning. Again, hopefully that's not too bad a thing for you. Hopefully you're coping all right with that. I don't know what it is with this one particular section. Each Sunday morning, my voice just suddenly goes, yep, nah, giving up, I'm done. So if you hear me a bit croaky, like I am right now, I do apologise. I don't know what's going on there. Just must not like this time of the day. I don't know what the go is. But anyway, I will do my best to kind of roll things up and just pull it together. We've been talking prayer this morning, guys, and how important it is. How important it is to recognise the things that are hurdles for us in terms of our prayer life. For us to be aware of how we can pray when we don't know how to pray. We have talked about being authentic with each other, with ourselves, with God, and how powerful it can be if we and when we decide to be the real deal. God can move when there's not all the cluttered stuff around us. Yes, He is the God who breaks the darkness. He is the God who goes into places that we don't even know we're entangled in sometimes. We don't even know we're sort of stuck on that spider web going, yeah, He goes to those places. He breaks us in terms of the stuff around us all the time to get to who we are, to become who we are meant to be. He does do the hard work behind the scenes to get us to that place. I know that. And I know it fully because I've experienced it. But I guess, we just also need to remember that we have a responsibility in how we respond to that as well. But yeah, I just think, guys, we just we underestimate the power of prayer. Prayer moves. Now, I want to ask you if there's been a time in your life where you have seen prayer move instantly. Or perhaps it's taken a long time, but you've got that result from prayer. It's a powerful, powerful thing. And God has given it to us to use at any time. We can talk to Him. We can talk to Him, in the shopping centre. It's a matter of us just, we can be walking down the aisle and just thinking and talking to God, thinking about what we're doing. It might be, any number of things. But it's just so readily available. It's not something we need to book in. We can just talk to Him at any point of the day. And that's really, really encouraging to those who might struggle with the kind of the big stuff in terms of, how prayers used to be. I think, as I said before, I was going into that and I got sidetracked in thought. But we often, or I think historically, have thought that prayers need to be fancy. They need to be the big words. They need to, look like we've got it all together and like we're close to God. Not anymore. I think God and our society is ready for a shake-up in terms of people just recognising that prayer is just so simple. It is literally going for a walk and just kind of going, hey, God, I see you in the trees today. That's really cool, that flower that popped out. That's amazing. This is the thing. We can be talking to God in and out all day, and He wants to hear all of it. Big stuff, little stuff, doesn't matter if you use fancy words or not. He just knows your heart. He loves you, and I'm going to end with that because He does. But I want to encourage this morning, pray. Pray with everything you've got because He responds. One of the most powerful things, I'm going to end with this story, one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. Well, actually I've got a few, but I'll think of just one at the moment. One of the biggest things that has stood and stays with me for probably over 30 years now is a moment when I would have been in year 7, and we had this massive hailstorm. And I'm talking like the bigger than, it was kind of the size of cricket balls, honestly. It was just massive. There's photos of the hailstorm. Was at school, and we had tin roofs throughout the whole school. So the sound of this hail just hitting was just horrendous. You can imagine over, 1,000 kids running around trying to find shelter in this it was just utter chaos. It stays with me because it was just so ear-piercing. The sound was just awful. Well, somehow I ended up in the drama room with probably about 12 other people, and we were all going, what do we do? What do we do? Our teacher at the time was there. I don't know why he was there, but he was. And I went across and said, hey, look, can we pray about this? So we stood together. We held hands, stood together. This hail would have been going down for at least 20 to 30 minutes. It was just it was the whole of the school lunch break. We stood there, held hands. We spent time with God, and the instant we stopped praying, everything just went silent. Just complete silence. And it was the most beautiful silence because it went from this ear-piercing pelting to literally nothing. And that moment, guys, taught me that God is in the miraculous. He's a God of the powerful. He's a God who stands with us when we stand together. And so our challenge right now is to acknowledge that same sort of setting, that we stand together, that whatever we're praying for, we need to pray together. And so my prayers, I want you guys to be assured I am praying for you today. I'm covering you in this region in prayer. And I want to invite you guys to be praying the same. Pray for each other. Pray for the churches. Pray for a movement of God to sweep through this part of the nation. And, pray for those moments of the miraculous. He's in the miraculous. I have countless stories of prayers being answered. That one's just come to me this morning. But He is a God who responds. And He is a God to be praised because He does hear our thoughts. Talk to Him. In those moments of fear, in those moments of desperation, in those moments of distress, and in the moments of pure joy. Just talk to Him. That's all He's asking. Righty, I'm out of here, guys. Have a beautiful week. I will see you next Sunday. Love and prayers coming your way. All right. See you guys.